I believe every relationship begins with a question. And at Bank of the Ozarks, we love finding the answer. So when I tell my customers I can do something, I do it, and I get it done quickly. Bank of the Ozarks is one of the top-ranked banks in the country, but we still make decisions locally, face-to-face. You have a friend here. Bank of the Ozarks.
This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. We are glad to have you with us this Sunday morning. Lots to get to this week, beginning with business confidence. New numbers from our Business Leaders Confidence Survey in partnership with the State Chamber of Commerce and consulting group CEG Partners. We've captured the opinions of more than 100 Arkansas CEOs, company presidents, and general managers. Let's go straight to the numbers. We asked what expectations were for sales and revenue in the second half of 2014. 69% expect an increase in sales and revenue. That's up 8% from what we saw 6 months ago when we surveyed. On the capital spending front, 51% expect an increase in capital spending. That's actually a 2% decline from 6 months ago. And when it comes to hiring employees, 49% expect to increase their hiring over the next 6 months. That is a 23% improvement from the number that we saw in our last survey 6 months ago. Joining me to talk about these results are Randy Zook, CEO of the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and the Associated Industries of Arkansas, the AIA, and Mike Stafford, Managing Partner at CEG Partners. Thank you both for being here. And Mike helped pull all this survey data together for us. We appreciate that. The good takeaway, more hiring, better sales. Randy, is that what you're hearing from business leaders anecdotally?
Absolutely. Without question, the economy at long last in this now 5-year-old recovery seems to be getting some legs. So this is good news.
Good news. Mike, what are you hearing from folks you're talking to in your consulting work?
Yeah, we're hearing, I mean, a lot of good positive feedback from this survey and what we've seen nationally as well. But it's kind of like I say, pedaling a bike in the Ozarks, right? As soon as you make it over one hill, seems to be another one up in front of you.
Analogy.
But there's a pretty good view while you're doing all that heavy pedaling.
Beautiful view, yeah.
All right, bad takeaway. We did note that capital spending a little bit of a pullback there when we compare it to where some of these business leaders were 6 months ago. Why do you think that is? If everything's getting better and improving, why are we seeing that little bit of hesitation?
Yeah, I think it's, when you're investing capital, it's a long-term investment. And, again, looking ahead, there's still a little bit of instability, from the business community, what they're seeing.
Definitely. Capital expenditures drive jobs ultimately. There's still a lot of slack capacity in industry and business around the country, so there's no need right now for additional capital equipment or capital investment to generate the sales level that they can feel.
This speaks to this workforce issue that you and I have had conversations about before, where there are potentially tens of thousands of jobs available in just the Arkansas economy alone. People aren't filling those jobs.
Definitely. That's expressing itself in some of these numbers.
You see that too in some of the consulting work. You're always recruiting for top talent.
Absolutely. And yeah, what we've seen in the survey and we've seen as we talk to companies, they have a lot of positions that are open. And you would think that there's a lot of unemployment, a lot of people looking for jobs, but they just can't find the right people with the right skills. And we saw that in some of the responses that we got in the survey here, that lack of candidates available and lack of candidate skills were two of the biggest reasons that were hindering their growth.
Yeah, and that was in some of the notations from the report there. All right, let's look at another set of graphics here that we've got. Speaking to economic conditions, today compared to where we were 6 months ago, 47% said conditions are better today. When we asked that same question 6 months ago, we got an 88% increase in improved economic conditions than we did 6 months ago. That's a big number there. And then what they expected conditions to be 6 months from now, 51% said they expect conditions to improve in the next 6 months, and that is a 46% improvement from 6 months ago. Those are huge improvements in business confidence.
Before we pop the corks and start celebrating, let's remember that these responses, there are two parts of each of those increased numbers. One is significantly higher or significantly improved, and then the big chunk is slightly or somewhat. So this is cautious optimism reflecting itself from the Arkansas business community. It's good, but there's still work to do.
Are we just inherently optimistic, though? I mean,
We want the glass to be half full.
Yeah, we are, and I think the nation is wanting to see this thing turn around as well.
Absolutely.
So do you have any sense of what's driving that optimism, that confidence that things are going to be better in 6 months' time?
Well, we've seen on the national level, consumer price index is up 2.1% over the last 12 months. The production index is up. I mean, employment is headed in the right direction. So, I think there's some good signs around.
Just about the same time we got these numbers, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times poll came out, and the other side of this coin is that there's still a great deal of angst all across the country. And I think these numbers in Arkansas reflect national levels of concern, primarily with what's going on in Washington. If there's a weight that we're all swimming with in business, it's got its anchor in Washington. It's fiscal policy.
This is the first I've heard of this. That
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm just being extremely sarcastic here. So no, that was.
Let me help you with that.
And there were some notes in some of the comments that we got from some of the survey respondents that said about regulatory problems.
And we saw that in the previous survey too at the end of last year, that one person had commented that regulation and compliance was the fastest growth part of their business, which is
not good.
Not what you want to hear.
Yeah. Let's talk about what businesses can do to control their own destiny, though. Mike, I'll start with you on this question. What are some things, we see what these numbers tell us. We've got a snapshot, a picture of where business confidence is, but to take it at an even higher level, is it what's within their own power to control?
Well, I think, and you look at a national level and you look at, what Congress is going to do. I mean, there's not a whole lot that us individually can do for that. But as a business owner trying to hire the right people and find the right talent, there's some things you can do, some things you need to look at. And what we've seen is, when I talk to a lot of clients who are trying to find the right person, they'll have a list of certifications as example that they're looking for. And a lot of times it's really hard to find that person with all those exact skills that they're looking for. And so we kind of counsel them on, well, look for potential in a person, and what can you do to help maybe even train them once you get them, on site, and and maybe even develop your training a little bit better in-house, because you can't always depend upon the educational institutions to do that in some cases.
You be careful how you answer this question. Your wife's on the Board of Education, so you.
Believe me,
What can businesses do to control their own destiny, in your opinion?
I think this is a terrific question. Businesses that have made it to now, that have survived this incredible recession and test of all our skills and abilities, businesses that have made it to now need to go find new customers. They've tightened up their operations. They've cut nearly every penny of cost out of their business model that they possibly can. Now they got to go find more orders, more customers, new markets. So export sales for companies that are not engaged in export sales, huge opportunity. 95% of the world is outside the United States. There are all kinds of resources to help you in that process and to help you connect with potential customers all over the world. Invest in technology, get yourself as mean and fast and as tough as you can possibly be, and just go for it. Now we're likely to have a fairly positive period for the next couple of 3 years at least. Money's going to remain cheap, and big opportunity.
All right, Randy Zook with the State Chamber of Commerce, Mike Stafford with CEG Partners. Appreciate y'all's insight very much on this.